This content is being brought to you by the Bourbon Real Talk American Whiskey Aroma Kit. This is a tool that I put together to help all you whiskey aficionados out there develop your palates. You can sit down with the vials and train your senses, or you can sit down with a great dram and break that whiskey down to its components. If you have any interest in purchasing a kit of your own, head on over to bourbonrealtalk.com/shop and pick one up. Thank you for listening.
Hello there, Bourbon Real Talk viewers/listeners. We have a very exciting episode for you today. If you are in the whiskey clubs, you will find this very interesting. And if you are not in the whiskey clubs, you're going to find this very informative, because I have Kristopher Hart, who is the admin, the whatever extraordinaire, if you will, of Houston Bourbon Society, the largest geographical Facebook group for whiskey enthusiasts in the world.
I mean, that's not...
In the world, people.
It's not terribly accurate.
It's, it's...
largest single market group in North America.
Single market group in...
But not that means anything. I mean, boo-hoo, we're a big group. We're also a group that struggles to just play nice.
Part of the reason why I wanted to get together to talk with Kristopher is I admin a group, Someone Say Whiskey. So for those of you that are listening, if you do not know, there are Facebook groups out there that are, for the most part, membership is absolutely free, and you can join these groups as a whiskey enthusiast. You can interact with other whiskey enthusiasts. What are some of the things, why would somebody want to join a Facebook group?
Well, I mean, I can, within reason, I can tell you that the breadth of knowledge within the whiskey world is available, probably not even always on Google, but almost assuredly available on Facebook.
Right.
You've got these groups with members that are master distillers, retired. I mean, the breadth of knowledge on a subject, for good or for better or for worse, is available in Someone Say Whiskey. It's available in the Houston Bourbon Society. If you want to learn about spirits and you want to learn about it for free, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. One of the main reasons that I became so actively involved in the Facebook groups is because I liked the camaraderie of meeting like-minded people that had a similar interest. And I found that that similar interest crossed all types of social barriers that we would maybe not cross. Right?
Sure.
So, there's people from all walks of life that participate in these groups, because whiskey specifically, but spirits in general, tend to bring people together, and I think that's great. And it's helped me to form relationships, even network business-wise, get access to things, because there's a lot of sharing and whatnot that goes on inside these groups. People will trade samples. They'll invite you over to their house and let you sample what they have that's open, and people get together, club lunches, distillery takeovers where you get to go in and taste whiskey out of barrels and have private tours, and bottle picks, right? So we're going to try some of the bottle picks from Someone Say Whiskey, and that's basically where the club selects a special barrel from a distillery, and the whole thing gets bottled and sold to the club. So there's a myriad of reasons why somebody would want to get involved, but those are some of the high-level reasons. So if you're out there and this is news to you, and you are a whiskey enthusiast, no matter how young or old, what walk of life you're from, I strongly recommend that you start looking for a Facebook group to get involved in. And if you can't find one, you can always check out Someone Say Whiskey. It's right here on the shirt. We are a nationwide club. We do not have any geographical restriction for where you live, and you would be able to get involved and participate there and get access to some fun stuff. It's probably best if you also join a local club as well, because that way you can go to the club lunches and things like that. And if you were in Houston and you haven't heard of Houston Bourbon Society, then you might want to crawl out from underneath your rock and get involved, right?
Yeah. Our geographical restrictions are really Houston and Houston adjacent.
Right.
If you're out of state, the answer is no.
Right.
But we've got many of our Dallas friends are in the group.
We actually both, obviously, I have a podcast. If you're watching this, you know that. but Kristopher has a better podcast than mine.
I don't know about that.
It is better. I listened to both, and I will say that his is better.
I appreciate the nod.
Yeah. So if you are into whiskey or you just want to be entertained, because his podcasts are not just whiskey focused, similar to us, sometimes we just sit down over drinks and talk with some interesting people. Your podcast is?
Yeah, so my show on ESPN 97.5 FM here in Houston is called Whiskey Neat. It's also available on your podcast platforms. Basically, the tagline of the show is spirited conversations with interesting people, and nothing brings people together like having drinks. So we've sat down with a few comedians, a few actors, and had drinks and just kind of shoot the shit. So you and I have actually... I've been on your show once before.
Yes.
We got deep and sad.
We did.
We did.
We talked about all the sad stuff. So what's the life cycle of a whiskey enthusiast inside these communities?
I've noticed a general path. There's a couple different types of base members. There's the member who's got a decent amount of money, only great bottles at his house, jumps in, realizes there's a whole community of people. Barrel picks, they find out what those are. Holy shit, you can go pick out your own barrel.
That's amazing.
Put your own sticker on it. Those people will jump in head first and thrive immediately. There's also, let's boil it down to even more simple. In general, regardless of your income, there's the people who will jump in head first and become enthralled with the community. What happens next defines them.
Right.
So, you got a community. People jump in head first, jump in on barrel picks, start showing up to bottle shares. They love and thrive on this community. There are the people who burn out. There's some people who are inherently inflamed. Everything that happens is ready to burn things to the ground, right? So, especially around 8 to 10 o'clock at night. Some people cannot sustain in any of these Facebook groups. They will burn out on their own. There are other people who jump in head first but will slowly pull back because they feel like there's a lot of controversy, a lot of judgy characters, a lot of dicks, a lot of
drama. Right.
Yeah, whatever. Other people will insist and have to mitigate and push forward and focus on the positive. Then you have people about 6 months in who feel like they've got it all figured out. They feel like they know how things work. They feel like they understand how these barrel picks work. They'll assume that they all the opinions in the world about everything. These people will also flame out. They'll move on. They'll hop group to group, right? So they'll be really active in one group. Then they just burn enough bridges. They move on to the next group. They're really active in this group. And those people happen too. Some people thrive in the smaller 200-person gossip fest groups. Some people thrive in a community of trying to keep the peace. Everyone branches off. So you start with the member that jumps in head first and sees the value in these groups, and then they branch from there. You've got the burnout. You've got the cost plus shipping group, active, tons of drama, lots of flare-ups. Those sometimes hop to hop from group. I mean, you branch out like a tree. Others, like yourself, realize you can't thrive in some of these groups with certain environments. So you move on yourself just to
get focused. Right.
I'm a father of 4. I don't have time for controversy. I don't have time for everyone to assume things. So I'm going to focus and stay in my lane where the camaraderie is the most mitigated and kind. And
for me, observing, the life cycle that people go through in these whiskey clubs, I see people come in and they're new and they are either active or they're lurkers. And then you see like this mid-range people, and the mid-range people typically are not super communicative. They're watching, they'll go to the events, they'll do whatever. And then there's the OGs that are in the club.
The OGs, I think, are the biggest problem.
And the OGs are always the ones that when some new person comes in and says like, hey, how can I find Blanton's? or whatever new person thing that they say, the OGs are like ready for blood. Like they're ready to
I call
send
them
out
old dogs.
They're ready to send out a lynching mob for this person, and it's like, well, what do you think the purpose of this group is? Is it just for you to sit around and feel how superior you are to everyone else because you've been doing it for longer? Or do you think this is supposed to be a community feel? And how can you have a community feel when you're so ready to attack people who are at the beginning stages of where you used to be?
Some of those old dogs are guilty of both. So the biggest problem, I say, within this hobby is self-policing, especially between the hours of 8 to 10 p.m.
Right, because we all drink at night and we get on the internet because our work day's done, we're trying to relax. We get on there and we see somebody that says something, we're triggered, and that's when most of the big flare-ups happen.
I think a problem that I have is when you write off a group, an entire group of people based off some people.
Right.
99% of your experience on Facebook can be shaped, as a member in any of these groups, can be shaped by learning when, and this is on you, 100% on you, learning when to block somebody. If you do not care for a certain person's personality, even an active member, because here's the thing that you and I discussed, is you can have a set of rules and people can toe the line so minutely, so finely, that they're not technically breaking rules, but still kind of being a dick. If people would learn to block the people that they don't care for, because it's those individuals in a group of nearly 10,000 people that is shaping your opinion of that entire group. Do you realize that you could thrive within that community of 3,000 people?
Sure.
If you just blocked 3 of those people that you knew were shaping your opinion of the entire group.
As an admin of one of these groups, what tools do you have to moderate the group?
I also admin a comedy group of 22,000. I admin a hot sauce group of 11,000. I admin a ton of groups, and every hobby has the same set of structure of issues. The new drinker, the new hot sauce lover, the new comedy person. I admin a ton of groups, and the types of members are always the same. Back to your question, what tools do you have? A good admin team, at least all you really need is 3 good, really active admins. If you got 2, you're gonna have some cracks. You're gonna have some loopholes. You're gonna have some things that sometimes take an hour, like your admin team didn't notice that this post has been up an hour and probably should have been taken down. If you have 3, usually at some point in the day, 3 really active members are there to delete, to mitigate, to shape, to control.
When you're adminning a group and a post comes up, you can delete the post.
Yep.
You can turn off comments.
Yep. We've started basically any store member that's not contributing other than promoting products, we put them on post approval.
You can put people on post approval so that their post don't automatically go into the group. It has to be approved by an admin or a moderator before it can be seen. And you can put people in timeout. So you can delete a post.
Yeah, you absolutely should. You know, you said something to me that changed my mind. What about unsolicited opinions of what people are drinking? It may be an honest feedback of the brand, but if no one's asking for it, then all you're doing is shitting on a new member. And it was such a beautiful moment of clarity, it became a rule immediately.
Nice.
We are in such a habit of, I think we need to change the culture around supporting the changing of minds.
Okay.
If you are presented with new evidence or a new perspective and it makes sense, you should be able to change your mind and for the better. Not called a flip-flopper or inconsistent, no, like, hey, listen, you make a good point. If we have a new member that's posting something that I hate, but they're just saying, hey guys, cheers, happy to be a member, and people are saying, that's a shitty product, this is bullshit, drain pour, we're deleting it. It's unconstructive, it doesn't add to the environment. You made a very valid point, and I said, you know what? Let's make it a rule. Now, if someone asks for that opinion, hey guys, what do you think of this?
Yeah. Boom.
Tear it up.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not gonna censor it.
The big controversy then, as an admin, is censorship.
Yes, that's
Right.
a big one. Yeah.
And so, as an admin, because you have these tools at your disposal, you can remove posts, you can turn off comments,
You can mute people,
you can
yeah.
do all this stuff. And I am, as just a business owner coming in and looking at running a group almost as like running your own business, I'm so shocked at how hesitant admins are to use those tools.
I feel like I have an answer to that.
Okay.
So the first thought most admins have that try to be fair is not to censor too much. So it's just as you continue to grow as a group and you get out of control. I mean, HBS sees 500 new requests a month, and of those 500 requests, 55% are usually, this month I know because I just looked it up earlier, 55% are approved. And then the rest is either denied or blocked. So we are growing at a crazy rate of growth. We're seeing more than 100 new ads a week, and you have to weed out fake accounts. You have to weed out out-of-state accounts, whatever the case might be. It's hard to mitigate to keep the environment the same, but I will say this, in 5 years, HBS has not changed. People would complain when we hit 700, said we were too big, and now every fucking group is 700 people.
Right.
When we hit 1,000, same thing. People said it's not about numbers. Stop bragging about numbers. We're not bragging about numbers. We're just saying, hey guys, we just hit this mark. This is awesome. I don't give a fuck about numbers.
Right.
Hey guys, we hit 3,000. We are now the official largest group in the U.S. Hey guys, we hit 5,000. Eventually, people stop complaining.
Right.
And the group it's always been the same. You have people who are 6 months in, who feel like they're experts. Those are the most cynical. If you can get those 6-month experts to relax a little bit and meld into the environment.
They might turn into an old dog that just is terrible.
Yes, yes.
So my philosophy has been, since we started Someone Say Whiskey, what I realized is that there were probably a lot of whiskey enthusiasts out there that did feel like they didn't have a home, because when they tried to participate, they just immediately got smacked down.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's like that old proverb about the crabs, and when one crab almost gets out of the bucket, the other crabs pull them back down.
Sure.
And so I didn't want Someone Say Whiskey to be like that, and I fought with everybody that's ever been a part of the admin team to say, let's not be afraid. If everyone wants to say, hey, and Someone Say Whiskey, they censor you, they won't let you talk terribly towards a new member, or they won't let you talk terribly about what a member says that they like if they didn't ask for the opinion, fine. Then let those people get out of the group. If they think we're too much about censorship, I'm totally okay with that.
And a lot of people I know, some of the old dogs, have just learned that if they're going to respond, to be nice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, keep scrolling.
So, final question, and a little bit of setup on this. So I've joined some of the national groups, and I get in and I look, and here's a typical situation. Brand new member just joined, group that's got 20,000, 15,000, whatever. So the brand new person gets in there and says, hey, I found this bottle and I love it. And then you look at the comments and it's like super aggressive, right? The comments are like, hey, if you like this bottle, then you're a piece of shit and I'll come to your house and murder your family while you watch, right?
Sure.
And then the guy goes, hey, that's mean, why would you say that? And then the guy goes, and I read this comment one time, it's not a dick, don't take it so hard, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, there's a lot of people who like to put it on the receiver to not be offended. Hey
Right.
man, relax.
And
like,
so-
no, hey you, shut the fuck up.
right, so why do you think, as an admin of one of these super large groups, that the admins are so afraid to censor that and create a culture? Because I'm trying to create a culture in Someone Say Whiskey where people know you can come and participate. If there's people that see what you're saying, they don't agree with it, they're not going to attack you, and they're free to make their own post about what it is that they think, but they're not going to attack you. So why do you think that the admins are so afraid to censor that?
Twofold. I think the first reason is they don't necessarily disagree with that person. There's some bottles that I hate to see. I mean, I see them posted and I roll my eyes so far back, it looks like I'm in The Exorcism. There's some bad products out there that are being promoted. I think first things first is some admins don't disagree with the distaste or even the commentary.
Okay.
The other thing is there's this belief system that censorship is inherently bad.
Okay.
I got called I am the furthest thing from a snowflake.
Okay.
This guy posts and all he says is, hey, thanks for adding me to the group. What's in your glass tonight? But his picture is of a bad bottle.
Okay.
I deleted an ugly comment. The guy came back with, don't worry, you're being protected by left liberal snowflake admins or something.
Yeah.
You don't want to, there's this belief system that's hard to function is I don't want to censor you. I want you to be able to speak freely. And then also I don't disagree with you, which makes it even harder. And if we're friends and you're part of the problem, that's also in the mix. If you couple in not wanting to censor, not disagreeing, and the fact that they might actually be friends with that person, it's tough.
See, not for me.
Not for you.
I'm super pro censorship, right? Because to me, as an admin, my obligation is to the culture of the club. No, and I mean, I hate to admit this, but if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, Someone Say Whiskey is going to be just fine.
Oh yeah.
Right? And that's the truth. It's
not for HBS. You fucking need it.
It's bigger than me now, and so what that means is that, you know, that has to be the priority. So I try to protect that inclusiveness, that safe space, and I don't want to censor people from saying what it is that they think. I want to censor people from saying what it is that they think in opposition to other people. So whenever somebody posts, you know, it's not a dig, don't take it so hard, I will delete the comment, I'll reach out to them privately, and I'll say, if you don't like that product, feel free to make your own post. Don't comment it on somebody else's post that didn't ask for your opinion.
It's so much more easier to turn the faucet off than to be mad at the cup for overflowing.
Yeah.
If you are the one being a dick and several people think you're a dick because of your comments, and you want to turn it around on them, like, hey man, don't be so offended. Mm-hmm. Like, no. The problem is you,
right?
Not the receiver. Hey,
yeah.
if and it's as simple as that. If my cup is full, I turn the faucet off.
Sure.
I don't blame the cup for not being able to hold enough water.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. We need to wrap it up. I do want to say a huge thank you to Gulf Coast Distilling.
Absolutely.
We are at Gulf Coast. We are
doing something very exciting.
Doing something very exciting. We're not going to tell you what it is yet, but when you see it, you're going to lose your fucking minds. And they allowed us to use their tasting room. We spent a good bit of time with Carlos de Aldecoa. Amazing man, very generous. You need to be drinking his coffee. You already are and you don't know it. You probably should be eating his sugar. You already are and you don't know it. And he's got some very exciting things coming out with his many spirit-related brands, and you're going to hear more about that. So thank you so much.
Can we end on a joke?
Yeah, let's.
Nobody get their feelings hurt?
Oh yeah.
You promise?
It's a bourbon safe space.
You promise? I'll say this. What we're doing tomorrow morning is going to be incredible. And if you're following the Chris D'Elia controversy and what's going on in his world, I will tell you that this is very apropos because the thing we're working on is at least 15 years old. Cheers.
Well, on that. Cheers.